Welcome to Front and Center with Jacquie Jordan.
Hi, Jacquie Jordan. It's Jennifer Love Hewitt. Here's to all the people making an impact. Lots of love.
This is Front and Center with your host, Jacquie Jordan.
Entertainment and pop culture expert Jacquie Jordan is with us.
Two-time Emmy-nominated Hollywood producer Jacquie Jordan.
We are the show where we talk with the change agents, the storytellers, and the activators from behind the scenes, making impacts. And joining me is co-host Phil Barbb. With show producer Stephanie Cobian.
Everyone has a friend or has a product that needs to go on Shark Tank.
Well, yeah, you say yes to everything until you hit a certain level.
Welcome back to Front and Center. I'm Jacquie Jordan, here with show producer Stephanie Cobian and friend and author, and wrote the foreword to our new book, The Ultimate On-Camera Guidebook for Hosts, Experts, and Influencers, with my co-author, Shannon O'Dowd, reality television producer and author in his own right, Phillip Andrew, and our dear friend Krista Parkinson, our guest today. Krista, William Morris agent, former William Morris agent, and now the CEO of My Grads Get Jobs. One of your bigger deals was, or work that you did with talent and employment like you did, was with Mark Cuban. We had Margo Romero recently on our show from Shark Tank who did casting, and obviously he's one of the sharks. So you must have a good story on that.
Well, he was one of the investors of an entertainment finance company that I worked for. And so I was there doing business development and marketing. And my colleague and I had a really good idea as part of a marketing plan to get him on the show Entourage. And so even a billionaire needs help. Yes, and Margo, if you're listening right now, you can even tell him that I said this, but it's true.
I remember when he was transitioning. I mean, I watched that transition happen.
Mark can do the ask, but it was important for our company because ours was a no-name company and we wanted to build on his brand. So that appearance, and again, he was on screen for a couple of minutes on Entourage, but that one appearance took an entire year to massage. Nobody else is going to stick to it like that.
That's a relationship.
It's a relationship. So I would check in with the EPs of the show. I would follow up. I went, you build the relationships over the course of time. And then it happened. It was awesome. He gets on the HBO show where he says on camera, I'm not here to talk about that. All right, let's talk about Content Partners, which was the name of the company. You can't pay for that kind of advertising. So that was something I was really pleased with at the company because Mark was happy. The company bosses were happy. And every time we went into a meeting, like, oh, hey, did I see Mark on Entourage? I'm like, yes, you did. You did. So it helped.
Your other big deal, Krista, was Ryan Seacrest.
People always want to talk about, well, what celebrities did you work with when you're an agent and all of that? What's the dirt? What's the dirt? Well, you're never going to hear anything negative from me. You're always going to hear the positive about maybe some little known things that celebrities do that are pretty darn awesome. And Ryan Seacrest is one of those guys.
What I like about the Ryan Seacrest story, especially for the work of what I do at TVGuestpert, is that he wasn't an overnight sensation, an overnight success. Like, he is a hard-working, and he's been around for a long time. And a lot of people, at least in the work that we do, often expect or have the expectation of, like, instant results, instant fame, instant success. And
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I met him many, many years ago when he came over to be a potential client at the agency. So I was one of a few agents in the room when we met him, and he had a radio show, probably here, I think, maybe even in this studio, in the afternoon. And he was just amazing. And he kept saying yes to absolutely everything. He had the energy and the stamina to go, 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 go. And, we ended up signing him. And one of the things that we said to him was, stop. You need to start saying no to things because you're taking on so many responsibilities. If you don't start saying no, you're not going to have room for other things in your schedule to do. So,
and Stephanie and I had a sidebar conversation on that because we were always telling our folks to say yes.
Yes. Well, yeah, you say yes to everything until you hit a certain level.
You got that.
And then once you hit that level, then you need to be very judicious about what you say no to. Because I'll tell you, Jacquie, I do the same with my students. My company is called My Grads Get Jobs, and the whole point is to help juniors, seniors, and recent college graduates get their first jobs and internships in entertainment. And so a lot of times I'll hear students say, oh, well, I don't want to be pigeonholed. I'm like, what are you talking about? You are 19 years old.
I am
You sound
19.
like an
I
idiot.
gotta get this thing right now.
Well, there's a lot of pressure for these kids.
Yeah,
and they
definitely.
feel like they've got, that what they do now is going to dictate their entire career, which, it is important what first job you get. But
Well, it's also,
pigeonholed.
I think sometimes you see kids that if they're not a millionaire by 21, they think they're a failure somehow.
100%.
Or they have, because of what they see and
Well, they
and
grew
have
up
that
with Mark
pressure.
Zuckerberg.
Exactly.
They think, where's my idea in college?
On demand, instant gratification. You order it on your cell phone and Amazon delivers by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you ever tell your grads to do what Phil did at the top of the show, go door to door?
I know when I heard Phil saying, I didn't know anybody, I was like, all you needed to know was me.
Oh, I know.
Because I
Where were
would help
you at? Where were you
Exactly.
at?
I was
Well,
still
you needed to be
slaving
just
away.
hanging out in Jackie's office waiting for me to come in.
No, but I loved your tenacity.
We were talking off show about the idea that if you do the footwork and take the action, the results follow. You had the student go after Aaron Sorkin, and then it creates a coincidence and then a synchronicity.
One of the things that just jumps out to me in this is also just the importance and like the power in proximity. Like how important it is to be able to be in rooms with people or actually be able to meet people and putting yourself in a place where, everyone always told me when it was like 50% of the battle is just getting to Los Angeles. For me being a
100%.
kid that I went to Michigan State, I wanted to work. It was like, I don't know what to do. It's like, well, step number one, get to California, and it was like, then you have, I can't walk into Jackie's office and meet Jackie from Detroit.
So I always tell students, your number one goal in a job interview or when you're approaching somebody is to be adorable. And it's having that energy. That what you did with Jackie was adorable. You just show up. Hey, I'm here.
And now he's ultra successful.
What's going on
and
here?
I don't take credit for it. He is.
But it's your personality. And people don't care about your skills in the beginning. They care about your
I
personality.
always say I can teach skills. I can't teach instinct.
Yeah, in just the desire to want to learn and to want to soak up as much as possible. And I have I'll do talking with kids that are in high school or college kids, and that's always one of the things. It's like, look, we know you don't know anything. We know you don't know anything. It's okay. Like, you don't have to be the president of your last name production company. And we're not gonna, we get it. You're 19, you're 20, you're 21. We know that you don't know anything, but are you willing to do the little stuff, the work, how energetic?
Yeah.
Are you at hour 19, or I shouldn't say hour 19, but on hour 12 on set, are you still smiling? Or are you in the corner hoping that no one sees you and you're sneaking away so you don't have to do a job? And it's like, and that's what is such a difference.
But I love what you say. Yeah, I don't care if you're president of your last name production company on your resume. I see all these elaborate productions. I'm like, get rid of it. All you need on your resume is I need you to work for the highest level place that you possibly can, doing menial work. I want to see that you work at NBC. I'd like to see that you work at iHeartRadio. I'd like to see you work on The Ellen Show. Something like that. I don't care what you did at those places. People are just interested in the company you work for. For the rest of my life, I will always be referred to as a former William Morris agent.
Always.
Because
I
it's
call it the
super cool.
obituary moniker. I call it the
it is.
obituary moniker. What I've known about you, Krista, is in the many years that I have known you is that you were a really great deal maker. And when I would visit you or take meetings at William Morris, I always found you to be the only woman in the conference room at William Morris. And I always found that both, well, it means you did something right.
Susie Unger and I think we're the only two women.
The only two women, exactly. And both of you have also both left to do your own ventures at the time. So you did something right. You were one of the few women in the boardroom at William Morris. You went on to be senior vice president of business development, and then that's when you started your own company.
Well, I actually started this company way back when, right after I left William Morris, and I called it First Step Media. And the internet wasn't what it was now. We didn't have social media. We didn't have any of that stuff. And I ended up working for Tony Hawk at that same time. I was vice president of his production company. And the best part about Tony Hawk and his sister Pat, who runs the company, is, they said, hey, we're entrepreneurs too. So why don't you work for us on Tuesdays and build your business? So I got to see firsthand how businesses grow, especially ones where, the business is Tony Hawk. And at that time, I think he was a $500 million a year business.
Right.
Employed all, wonderful people. And so I was able to do that way back then.
What is the tie-in between what you did as an agent to what you do now and how you translate that going forward?
Well, one of the things that is key when you're an agent is about relationship building and network building. And everybody throws the relationships around now saying, oh, it's so easy. You just do a Facebook request or you get LinkedIn on LinkedIn or whatever it is. Just because you follow somebody on social media is not networking. That is the point that gets you to be in contact, but it's what you do with that is the point of networking and relationship building. So that's one of the big things that I teach my students is how do you approach somebody? They say, oh, we'll just invite somebody out for coffee. I'm like, no, but who are you? Like, why is somebody big and fancy going to take coffee with you? So we really have to talk about how to build those relationships. And one of the things I say is it starts with a vision of the kind of career you want. That's what I learned from the agency. It's not good enough for you just to advocate for yourself, particularly as women. We have a really hard time doing it, but we can do it for somebody else.
So good at doing it for other people.
I can tell you.
I think we call it the wingman.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can't brag about myself, but I can get my buddies to brag about me.
Exactly. And it has to come from a very authentic place.
So tell me real quickly, how does being a William Morris agent tie into what you're doing right now?
The best way possible. Because all a talent agency is, any of the big ones, it is roughest form. It's an employment agency for creative people. That's it. So my job as an agent was to help people get jobs. Well, I do the same thing for 20-somethings now. So I help them get jobs. It's the same skill set. You want to make sure you're presenting in the right way. You want to make sure your tools are sharp. You want to make sure the resume is amazing. I encourage all of my grads to do a video cover letter. So in 1 minute, you tell your story. Even if you never use the video cover letter,
so good.
when you
It's
actually
so
apply,
out of my world. Like,
because,
I just don't come from that world.
Because the reason why you do it is, what's the first question anybody asks you in a job interview? So tell me about yourself.
Exactly.
And they say, duh, I don't know what to say. What do you want to know? Blah, 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 blah. We don't want that. We want you to be sharp and have a presentation and be ready to roll with it. So some people love getting the videos because it shows that's somebody who's going to give me some effort. That's the person you want on your production because they're going to go the extra mile. But it also helps the person know what their story is and what the most important points to bring out.
So I have my photo spire for you.
Yes.
What is the most inspiring photo you've snapped in the last 30 days?
Well, it happens to be, this is an easy question. It happens to be, I was recently on safari for my friend's 40th birthday, and it's a picture of a lioness, and we happened to be very, very close to this lioness. And it was so close to the car, so I kind of photobombed the lioness. So I'm right there. The lioness is in the background. Yeah, I would say that one. I like it because that trip was really inspiring. I do a whole lecture. I'm actually going to Dartmouth University and doing a big presentation for them. And the big thing is, we talk about Hollywood as being, we're all just animals in this ecosystem. And some animals live in the wild and some animals live in the zoo. And, the animals in the wild are your artists, your writers, directors, producers who are going to go hustle job to job to job. And your animals in the zoo are your agents, your managers, your studio executives. They have a paycheck. It doesn't matter what they do. They just have to perform at a certain level, but artists have to perform at a way higher level to be successful. And so this trip in the safari, even though I had this lecture already in my practice, I'm bringing it to Dartmouth in a whole new way this fall because now I have experience in the wild and learning a little bit more about these animals and how it applies to the 20-something job seeker is amazing. We'll have to talk about that another time because I'm really excited about the speaking tour.
Thank you so much, Krista, for being here. My grads get jobs. I so appreciate you, and I so appreciate everybody who has participated and listened in. Thank you, Phillip. Thank you, Stephanie, for joining us front and center, and you can find us at TVGuestpert on Instagram.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Front and Center with Jacquie Jordan podcast. Please subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at TVGuestpert. We'd love to hear from you.